Hi folks and welcome back. This is actually an optional video. You don't have to go through these steps as a necessary part of designing your truss, but many of my students gave me grief about not filleting my nodes here. So we've been through some videos, we've designed a truss, we've modeled the truss, we've made sure it's working, we've created some little isolation boxes, cylinders, and we've used that to pull out these nodes, and we're just about ready to send them off for 3D printing. And you don't have to do these steps. You can skip ahead to the next video and you can send these parts off for 3D printing as they are. But I had two requests from students. How do I fillet them? And how do I put numbers on them? So here's my answer. Okay, first thing I'm going to say is we don't need sketch 1 turned on. We can just go straight down to the nodes. This construction plane right here, under your construction right here, you can turn that off so that you're not looking at it. Now we're just looking at our nodes right there. Now this is one of those things where I am going to be cheating and using my 3D mouse because I can. And it's going to be really handy, and even with that, it's going to be a lot of work to get in here and fillet everything. Okay. But you can do this, with your keyboard and with your mouse. You can rotate around here, and you can get in here to do this. So the fillet command is right up here. Okay, and when you click on fillet, it's going to ask you to come in here and pick some edges that you want filleted. Oh, don't pick that face. Pick that edge, and it really depends. What do you want to have filleted? And you can see those lines go blue on there. So those lines are all blue. Those are filleted. And then start just by filleting to a distance of 1. So I've come over to the fillet command, and that lets me fillet them out to a distance of 1. Now you can see down at this end right in here that I'm not going to be able to fillet it out too far. So let's try 2. And even at 2 millimeters on here, I start to get an error on that fillet, because at 2 millimeters, let me put that back to, let's try 1.5 and see what happens. 1.5 is giving me an error. 1.4, 1.2. So when I start to run these fillets, as I get to too big of a radius, those start to link in together and they start to bind to each other, and the program just gets confused about what I want it to do. Now that's because those two are at a really narrow angle. You could probably come to something like this in here, and you could come in and pick up these ones right in here to fillet them. And again, pick the edges that you want to fillet. And because these ones aren't quite so cramped, make sure I've got everything that I want filleted, selected it in there. Oh, this one's a pretty narrow angle too. I'm going to leave that one out of it. Those two are pretty well joined together. So you don't have to select everything. Just pick the ones that you want to fillet. And then you should be able to go and 8's too big, but maybe 5. And now you've got these nice smooth connections on here that will print beautifully. And that will help reduce stress concentrations in the corner. Do I think that's going to be really important to you? Probably not, but definitely a filleted corner is a better corner. It's going to add a little bit to your weight, and it's going to add a lot to your time, because that's a lot of nodes. So anyway, if you want to fillet the corners, you can. That's how you go there and do it. Now, the other thing people have asked for is, how do I put a number on these so I can identify them? And I'll show you the quick and easy way, and then the slightly more complex way. So the quick and easy way is to come in here and create a sketch. Pick that nice flat plane. Okay, that's what's going to be lying flat on the 3D printer. We can draw on that. And now we're into sketch mode, because I said create sketch. I clicked on the nice flat plane, and I'm going to go create, and I'm going to create some text. And right here in the middle, where it's nice and flat, I'm going to put a text square down there, and I'm going to put a number 3. As you can see, the 3 is a little too big at 12 millimeter height, so I might take that down to 6 millimeter height. And I've got this set to align to center and to middle, so it goes right in the middle. Actually, at that height, I can probably take it up to 7. Yeah, that's plenty high for it to be seen. So click OK. Okay, so now we've got the number 3 sitting right there. Keep in mind, this is just a sketch. If we actually want this to show up on the 3D printed part, we have to take our 2D sketch and turn it into a 3D part. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish the sketch. And where'd that part go? Right there. Okay, and we are going to extrude that sketch right there. You see it says profiles 2 selected. Just get rid of all those profiles. I only want this profile selected. Okay, so make sure it's just your number that's selected. And for distance, give it a distance of maybe minus 0.41. Okay, and I say 0.41 because we're going to print this later on with a layer height of 0.2 millimeters. So this is going to give you 2 layers worth of is it embossing or debossing when you push it into a material? Anyway, you're going to have 2 layers to see that. It should come out nice and clear when you're done your 3D printing, and you should be able to see the number 3 right on the side of that. Make sure cut is turned on and that it only cuts in there. And now you can see that part. And hopefully when we do our 3D when we do our tool pathing for the 3D printer, you'll see that that part has just been removed right on there, and you'll have the number 3 on there. Okay, that's the quickest and easiest way to number them. You could put a different mark on there. You could put a small circle. You could put 2 or 3 circles, whatever you want to emboss into that side. Just make sure you leave enough material on this, because this is going to be our bottom layer that contacts the bed of the 3D printer, and getting good bed adhesion really matters. So make sure you leave a nice clearance right here. You want to make sure that if I inspect right here and do a measurement between that edge and that edge, okay, that says 1.63 millimeters. So I'm going to have room. Our nozzle is 0.4 millimeters diameter, so my slicer will have room to put 4 beads of plastic right down inside here, and that should be good. You just don't want to get it too close in there so you can't fit 1 bead of plastic in. That might start to affect your bed adhesion. So there you go. That's going to go in there. It's going to make your print slightly more complex. Adding the filleting in right here, it's going to take a little bit of time for everything. Adding the numbers, it'll take you a little bit of time. But hey, when you print them out, you'll know where everything goes. Your other option, of course, is to just carefully label each of them after they come off the 3D printer. Okay. Well, this was an optional video. I'm going to move on to the next part, but I'm going to do that in the next video. So if you wanted fillets and you wanted numbers, there you go.